Hey, it's Cesar.
Hey, I'm Carla.
Welcome to another episode of Carla and Cesar's Modern Life.
Episode number 11.
11. Yep, we're keeping it going. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in for the first 10 episodes. 10 episodes in a row. We're keeping it going.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Give us your feedback.
Yeah. If you just happen to be, subscribing, passing by, subscribe and like this, and share it or whatever. And we're trying to build this channel. So we're just, in it, doing it.
Yeah. We hope you're enjoying it. And if there's any feedback, which we have gotten from some people, which is great.
Yeah.
Keep sending that in. We appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Send that in. We appreciate that. If you have anything you want to tell us, you can send us an email at advice@carlaandcesar.com, advice@carlaandcesar.com. It's our email. Carla with a C. Cesar is my name.
Carla. Did you already say that?
Well, Carla with a C.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so advice, whether you want to give us some or ask us for some.
There you go. And you can follow me on Instagram at I am Cesar Rod. We're going to follow you on Instagram.
Oh, Carla Rod 89.
Yep. So before we get into, the scenarios, let's talk about the life updates. I've had some crazy stuff happen in my life. Do you want to start?
Yeah, you did have a lot happen recently. So for me, it's a lot of the same. I'm still enjoying my job. I need to start taking better care of my hands though, because I use my hands a lot more which is nice. But I think I won't be spending money on getting my nails done anymore just because they're not gonna last.
Yeah, because you're working with your hands a lot. It makes sense.
But I'm enjoying it still. And I've been listening actually to an audiobook recently. You Are a Badass. Which I had listened to the You Are a Badass at Making Money, which is another one of Jen Sincero, the author's books. And they're both really good. This one is like the perfect listen to, I think, if you're like in the middle of a transition, just because a lot of what she says is resonating with me. And like, I've been working on my negative self-talk for years and years. And I feel like it's probably going to be like that for a long time, because I talked to my career coach this week, and she basically just told me like, those are not ever going to go away. You just have to figure out how to like
manage them.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
So yeah, because like it's obviously in your subconscious, so you just have to like do work on refocusing, like becoming aware of the thought, and then replacing it with a thought that's more aligned with how you want to think. Because it's in your subconscious, the way that you want to think. Like, if like what you believe in your not in your consciousness. I can't say it now. Like, if we could just like make those things happen and like believe those things automatically, like things could look so differently in your life. But because you're operating out of your subconscious most of the time, like, I think that's why I find myself in like these patterns of, I don't know, things that are just like thoughts that are not good for me, And it's like I would never like talk to other people the way that I talk to myself in my own head.
Yeah, because you're so hard on yourself. Yeah, it makes sense.
So I highly recommend it to anybody that's going through a transition, or just in general. It's just a great listen. I'm sure it's a great read. I just haven't had time to read, so audiobooks are a good way to go.
Easier. What else?
Oh yeah, you asked me for my Instagram earlier. I just wanted to also shout out my plant Instagram, which is Plant Parenthood OC.
Plant like a plant.
Yeah.
PLANT.
Yeah, Plant Parenthood. I've been thinking a lot of what I would want to do next, and I just feel like I need to start seriously like thinking about potentially just starting my own business, just because I feel like I don't want to work for anybody.
Yeah, who wants to?
Yeah, nobody does. So I don't know. I think like I'm really confident in my ability to take care of plants. So I feel like why not capitalize on that? So yeah.
Yeah, so they can follow you and they
Yeah.
can get plant advice, like if they're having trouble.
Ask me questions. I am always willing to ask and talk about plants. So yeah, let me know.
Yeah, so follow that Instagram. We'll show it on the screen. And you can, and that's cool because you're passionate about that. So you can make that a business and get paid for it.
Yeah.
And what would it be exactly? Taking care of people's plants?
Yeah, like styling people's plants or helping people out with like what plants to choose based on like their lighting situation and wherever they're living. I think that would be cool.
That's exciting. Damn. Is that all you had for life updates? Yeah.
And that's just kind of going off of like what we've been talking about, like the idea that we like make it out to be something like that seems so hard to attain, like a lifestyle that you enjoy. And I'm just trying to like go with that and just tell myself that like anything is possible because it literally is, you know?
Yeah. The sky's the limit.
And that's it. I think that's all I have. Yeah. If I think of anything else, I'll let you know.
Okay, cool. So my big one was that so I've been working at this one place for 13 years and I put my notice in this past week, so I will not be working there anymore.
Dang.
13 years.
Play the kids.
Play the kids.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's exciting because it's a big step in my life. I don't know yet where I'm going next. I'm looking for a job, but it's cool to to be on the search and trying to figure it out. There's so many jobs on Indeed where it's like digital producer, audio producer. So I'm looking for something like that. And I've tried. I've already applied to like 8 places so far. So I'm just gonna keep looking for positions that I like, and luckily they keep popping up and I keep applying for them every day.
Good, honey. That's more than I've applied to, honestly, so good job.
Yeah.
In the 3 months.
Especially like when they pop up, like I feel like I have to be like, if it's a new one, like you have to be right away because they're more likely and they're more likely to see you.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're like initially like one of the first people, I don't know. I've been applying. It's a whole new adventure. But I'm
Congratulations,
excited to see where it goes. Yeah.
I'm proud of you. That's really hard to do, especially like 13 years, but like so much more, like so much happened. Like it's not just like.
Well, yeah, I mean, me and you met at that job, and then
your dad worked there.
Yeah, as a person, I grew up there. 13 years. You grew up because I started when it was the day before my 17th or the day after my 17th birthday, and I'm about to turn 30 now. So.
Dang.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I told myself like I wanted my life to change in that aspect by the time I turned 30, and I didn't really have like a solid a plan when I said that, but it still happened. So
it still happened, yeah.
I'm still gonna change my life. I'm already changing my life, so we'll see where I go. I'll keep you guys updated.
Do you feel like now that you have like jumped off the cliff, like do you feel like I don't know, like how do I feel
it? Well, it's still scary because like you said, I jumped off the cliff. It does feel like that.
But you knew that you had to do it.
Yeah, I knew it came to that point where I wasn't enjoying it as much as I used to, and stuff changed over the pandemic. So it was time for me to go. It was just, and I knew that it was just tough to say that out loud.
Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard when you're comfortable to get out of it, out of something, because it was comfortable and it does give me the freedom to do certain things, but it's like
there were certain aspects of it that were good as well. Like it wasn't all bad. Yeah.
And that's why at a certain point you're like, yeah, but is it worth like the mental stress of it all? And
that's what it came down to.
It came down to it wasn't. And for my mental health I had to leave. And like little by little, like now there's moments where I don't have to deal with this anymore. I don't deal with this. And it's like, okay, now it's feeling better.
Yeah, good.
And it's true because even what they told me that like they knew that it wasn't my passion to do that, and I was like, it's not. Like my passion is doing this kind of stuff. So hopefully that's what I make a career out of. And if you want to do, the way you can help me, if you're watching this and you're like, oh, how do I help him achieve that? Is you can support the Rodriguez Show on Patreon.
There you
go.
It's
patreon.com/The Rodriguez Show. And yeah, if we get that up, I mean, that could be like a living. I mean, down the road.
And you're not asking for a lot of money. Like you're asking for $1 or more.
Yeah, it starts off as $1. So if you're a person that like wants support for $1, then you're helping us out with that. And
so if you're hesitant to check it out because you think, oh, it might be too expensive, it doesn't have to be.
No, it doesn't. And then you get a lot for that $1, and you give. I mean, it's just. I feel like I should go up more at this point, but what are you gonna do?
Should I give the people the loophole?
What's the loophole?
To getting on the show.
Oh well, I mean, if they're high enough, if there's a certain aspect of it where if you support us for a certain amount of months, then you can come on and promote something.
That's pretty cool.
Within reason, yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about that if it gets to that point. So people can do that, and yeah, I mean, it's just a way of like, that can help us a lot, and then being independent. Like my dream would be to do that like 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And then it just be a thing because we could do it. Like if we had the money, we didn't have to have the jobs, then we could do it we could have artists being interviewed every single day and release it that night.
Yeah.
We could. So yeah, I mean that's the dream.
Anything is possible, honey.
Anything is possible. I think so, and I think that even if it doesn't necessarily mean the Rodriguez Show is my job, like I still am excited to work in that field, and that's what I'm trying to do now. I mean,
I would love to see that for you because, like, you do light up, and like that is what makes you happy, and like when you're doing that, like I want more of that for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for where our life goes from here. I mean, Carla made the big step last year. Now I did it. Now it's like, oh shit,
Well, this year, but I decided last year.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You had already decided. So that's it for the life updates. Before we get to the scenarios, though, we did want to talk about Adam et al., our friend, formerly Fame Kills. He released a song called "Wait Forever," which is a song about the getting married or his experience of him getting engaged and married, and then the day that we're recording today on the 22nd, he's actually having the ceremony in front of his family. Yeah, they eloped last year. It's Adam and his wife Leslie, and then today we're recording this 22nd. They're actually
congratulations!
Yeah, congrats, guys. Cool. They were gonna have a big wedding, but because of the pandemic, they used that money to buy a house.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
That's what in the song he talks about that and how they and it's funny because the song came out on our anniversary on April 18th. It came out on Monday, and it talks about how they were planning on having a wedding in Joshua Tree, and that was like that's what we did.
Yeah. That is how the song starts out.
Yeah, and I'm trying to pull up more information on it, but it's just so cool that he thought of to send us that song because of that.
Yeah.
So shout out to Adam.
Yes. Okay, and congratulations. That's so exciting. Like, I feel like it was probably like a blessing in disguise. Maybe like you guys got a house. That's crazy. That's good for you guys. Seriously.
So he sent me some press release info. Wait Forever is an R&B infused rap song about love, getting engaged, getting married, and cultivating meaningful romance during a worldwide pandemic. It's a collaboration between Adam et al., Young Miss, and Link, all artists that recently got engaged, married, or both, just before the pandemic or until now.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So that's really really cool that they decided to share that with us. And shout out to Adam et al. And check out the song. It's called "Wait Forever," and it's on all streaming. One thing though that I wanted to talk about before we move on to scenario in relation to that was how during the lockdown we were like recently married. Like that's how it was, because we got married April 2019, and then a year into it, that's when we had to go into lockdown. And how did you feel about that? Like, I guess it's weird me asking you that because we went through it together, but how was it being married in lockdown with your partner?
Yeah, I guess we've never really talked about it, but that's a good question. I mean, I feel like
Didn't feel like a lockdown.
it was kind of cool because I wasn't flying.
Yeah, well, that's
I got
true.
furloughed.
There was a time, yeah.
So, like at first, it was kind of stressful because I had to figure out how to make some money because I was furloughed.
Yeah.
But then we found out that we were going to continue to get paid, which was like a huge relief. So I feel like we had it pretty like chill compared to a lot of people. I feel like I can't really complain because we were living with our friend Kaya for a part of it.
Yeah.
And it was cool. We were working out.
Yeah, it was cool. We established a routine together. Stuff
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
And then Harley was still our neighbor, the dog. He's a golden doodle. And so we would take him out on walks, and it was nice, honestly.
Yeah.
So in general, I feel like it was.
I think it was cool. Yeah, I mean, I think, and I think for me, I mean, I still had to work my job, so it wasn't like we were at home together all day, but it was cool. And then we got a little taste of that too when you quit your job earlier this year, like you said, and then we were just here all day together, and it's interesting because I feel like eventually when we're together now, like it feels like not more special, but now that you have a job, the time is like, okay, well, I'm only we have to take advantage of the time we have when you're off or whatever. And when it was during lockdown, it was like, well, we're always off, so what do we do? And it was like, well, I can't really hang out with you in the sense of like to have fun because there's still stuff I have to like get done. So it was interesting to find that balance.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have that balance now too.
Yeah.
Where it's like I wish we could hang out like all day and just hang out and have fun, but we still have to work.
Yeah.
And that was different because when you were flying a lot, that was when I would get the work done, is when you were flying.
I see.
So now now it's a whole different situation. A year later, or 2 years later from the start of that 2020.
Yeah.
We have a whole different rhythm, and it's working for us. Yeah.
But also, I was gonna say, I was telling one of my coworkers that pretty much for the first almost 3 years of our marriage, we were kind of like not long distance because I still lived here, but I was gone a lot. So that part was hard for me, just being gone a lot, which obviously became part of the reason why I left.
Yeah, but I can see how it could be hard for somebody. It did test a lot of relationships, I feel like, and some people, even some famous couples, they broke up. Like it was Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet. Yeah, they broke up because they were like in lockdown, and they like learned about each other more, and they're like, nah.
I thought they got back together.
Well, they did recently, but that's funny because of this. Like now everything's up and up. They're like, all right, let's get back together.
Oh yeah, that's funny. That's true. Yeah, I feel like before we were married, we had already experienced like being together all the time. So like we knew we were okay with that.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I feel like that's the case. Like I could be with you all the time, and I probably we wouldn't get tired of each other. I mean, at least speaking for me.
No, same. Yeah. And then it's like you said, the first 3 years of our relationship, we were working together, so we were hanging out all the time. Yeah. Because it was 2018 that you went to flight attendant. Yeah. Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah.
Damn. So shout out to Adam et al. And the song "Wait Forever." Are you ready to get into the scenarios here?
Yes.
All right. So these are different because I picked these out. So they might be, not as great as you expect because Carla's the one that usually, picks these out.
I like the ones you chose.
All right, I'll start off. You want me to read the first one because the first one's kind of harsh?
Sure.
All right. So this is a reader. This is the person that submitted this. This is a 30-year-old female asking if she should invite her recovering addict's future brother-in-law to her wedding. I'm about to get married to my fiance who's 27. This is a big problem. There's a big problem concerning our wedding, and that's his twin brother. His brother is a drug addict and has got a lot of trouble in the past because of it. I obviously don't want a drug addict invited to my wedding. My fiance insists not only to invite him, but to make him a groomsman too. He says that he went to rehab and is now clean, but I seriously doubt that. I know people like him, they never change. We kept arguing about it for a couple of days till yesterday when he invited his brother and his mom over to dinner to convince me to have a change of heart and let him attend the wedding. I was furious that he would invite that drug addict and their nutcase of a mom to my house without consulting me first. I told them that I'm not going to make dinner for a dopehead and to please leave my house.
Oh my God.
Harsh.
Seriously, his brother then started sobbing, saying that I'm unfair for not letting him support his brother on his big day just because of some stupid mistakes, and my future mother-in-law started berating me about how heartless I am for doing this to her sons and being so hung up on something that's in the past. But I told them to drop the act. These stupid mistakes literally landed him in jail, and I'm not gonna allow a former offender at my wedding under any circumstances. And I also told my future mother-in-law to stay in her lane, as this is not her wedding, and she's also a big reason for why we've gotten into this situation. As she kept enabling his addiction for a long time. They started shouting at me, but I eventually managed to make them leave my house. My fiance was furious at me and told me he can't believe how badly I treated his family, and I told him that it's not my fault that his family is formed a bunch of nutcases. Jeez. Which turned into another argument between us, with me saying that if I see his twin brother between the guests at the wedding, then I'm simply not going to walk down the aisle.
My fiance slept on the couch that night, and he's still treating me coldly even today, but I'm not willing to reconsider my decision. If anything, I'm now more seriously considering hiring a security guard to keep that drug addict and possibly the crazy mom too away from my wedding. Am I a jerk?
Am I a jerk? Yes.
Did you read this back to yourself and think, yes, this is good?
Do you talk like this on a regular basis? Yes, you are a jerk.
Oh my God.
If you've answered yes to any of these, oh my gosh.
So this one, obviously, I was looking at it and I was like, obviously, this lady has a problem with people that are, recovering. Mm-hmm. And obviously, this is like her preconceived notion, and it's like fucked up. Yeah. So it's very clear,
It's very clear
that she's prejudiced against recovering.
Mm-hmm. It's like, are people not allowed to like ever get better?
Yeah. So
like
that's
once
the thing.
they are one thing, like are they that thing for you forever? Like what the fuck?
That's my only point of discussion was like, it is to play devil's advocate. It is a very hard thing to do is to be recovering, you know? So in her head, her suspicions are like, well, he's not really sober, but it's also like, how do you discount the fact that he went to rehab?
I know.
Like, what? I don't know.
And then just calling everybody nutcases, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, read a fucking book.
Like it's I'm only laugh because it's so like the audacity.
Exactly.
Like what the fuck?
Like I can't believe it. Like who talks like this? Like that's messed up.
Yeah.
I feel bad for anybody that she has talked to like that, like hopefully it's not a lot of people, but like that's a terrible attitude to have towards people in general.
Yeah, I think so.
Like not compassionate at all, which is wild.
Yeah, no. So yeah, you are the jerk, the person that wrote this. Post.
I hope that you don't end up getting married.
The post on Reddit was like, nobody's gonna marry you. They actually had to lock it because people are being too mean to this person. Shit. But it's like, hey.
Se la buscó?
Yep. All right. Do you want to read the next one?
Yeah. So my brother-in-law, my husband's brother, was married to a woman from Greece. Her name is Nana. And the reason for their divorce was because of how much my conservative brother-in-law tried to control her clothes and the places she went. He didn't want the divorce and was hoping Nana would accept the life he offered and stay, but she didn't.
This happened 2 years ago. He now moved back with my in-laws and we see him more often. He tried to comment on how I dress on multiple occasions and it's unbearable, but since my in-laws said he's struggling and depressed, I let it go. On Friday, my in-laws celebrated my husband's 30th birthday at their home. I wore a heart-shaped blue dress and had my hair up. While we were eating, my brother-in-law pointed at me and said my cleavage was showing that I shouldn't have worn this dress because it looked inappropriate for a family gathering. I was utterly shocked. Everyone was staring at me and I felt so embarrassed on the spot. He looked at me waiting for me to blow up probably, but I laughed and told him knock knock, and he said, "Who's there?" I said, "Nana." He then paused, seemed confused with the mention of his name, and then let out a fake laugh and said, "Nana who?" And I said, "None of your goddamn business what I'm wearing, okay?" He got upset and quickly left the table. My sister-in-law laughed, but my husband and his parents were upset and later said I was way out of line for bringing up Nana to my brother-in-law, knowing how heartbroken and depressed he is because of her. His mom said I was being petty and didn't need to dig at him to prove a point. My husband thinks I'm wrong as well, but I was deliberately hurtful by bringing up Nana.
Another one se la buscó.
Yeah, I think
once again.
I think if you're gonna be the fucking guy that's like judging people, then don't be surprised when it comes back at you. Mm-hmm. Cause it's like, goddamn.
Who are you to tell people what to wear?
Yeah, and then she was the mention of his ex-wife like fuck, like was that too far? No.
No. He's fucking grown up. You're allowed to hear a name. What you interpret it in your head, that's on you.
Yeah.
But
all right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So she's not a jerk for standing up for herself and telling off her brother-in-law. Mm-hmm. I agree.
I like the joke. Good job. I wish I was that quick on my comebacks or whatever. None of
your goddamn business what I'm wearing, okay? Fucking brother-in-law. I thought his name was Bill because of the brother-in-law. Because of the way they abbreviate brother-in-law.
That's funny.
All right, we're going one more. You want to start this one?
Mm-hmm. A 28-year-old female, was on the train yesterday. It wasn't busy at all. Since it was a long trip, I started reading a book on my phone that has some very, very explicit mature scenes. The man sitting beside me was very obviously reading over my shoulder, which I thought was very rude, but I didn't stop him when I got to a very steamy scene.
Barely a few seconds in, he made the disgusting noise and then says, "How could you read that filth in public? Are you a pervert? This is sexual harassment." I was surprised. I thought he would be embarrassed and avert his eyes. I thought at most he would be embarrassed and avert his eyes. Well, I have no shame, so I said, "No one told you to look at my phone screen. Should I really harass you and start reading it to you out loud?" He turned red and changed seats. But after I cooled down, I felt bad for my response. I know most people would feel awkward reading smut in public, so am I the asshole?
No, you are not the asshole. And I wish I could be like you. And
yeah, but okay. No, the guy reading over her shoulder is bad. But if it was a guy, and if it was me reading porn, not looking at pictures, just doing the same shit, and some girl was sitting next to me and I was reading something like that, like on an iPad or something, do you think it would be like, what the fuck?
I just feel like she wouldn't be reading your shit in the first place.
Oh, I see what you're saying. She shouldn't look over. Because as long as I'm just reading something, like, what does it matter what I'm reading?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I probably wouldn't, like, if I had noticed somebody was reading my book, I probably would have, like, switched it. But why would you? Like,
yeah, you're saying, like, you would do it because you would be like, oh, what the
just
heck?
Just because I don't know, a people pleaser.
But you don't have to.
I'm embarrassed or whatever it is.
But you shouldn't have to.
Exactly. Because it's my fucking phone. Mind your fucking business.
Yeah.
None of your goddamn business. What was it? Yeah.
None of your goddamn business.
What we're reading.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So that was it. That was 3 scenarios. Just people standing up for themselves, not taking shit, except for the first one. She was the one doing the bullying.
That's funny. Wait, what'd you say?
Everybody was standing up for themselves, like the second.
Oh, yeah.
They're standing up. This first one,
I like that.
She was in that job.
Yes. Shout out to people standing up for themselves. I like that.
All right, guys. That was it for this week's episode of Carla and Cesar's Modern Life. Make sure to send us any issues you got going on at advice@carlaandcesar.com. You can follow me at I am Cesar Rod on Twitter and Instagram. We're going to follow you.
Carla LaRod on Twitter. I should start tweeting. Mm-hmm. And Carla LaRod 89 on Instagram.
Nice. Patreon.com/The Rodriguez Show. That's where you can support The Rodriguez Show for $1 a month. And your Planned Parenthood OC?
Planned Parenthood OC.
All right, guys. That's it for this week. Remember to take care of yourselves and each other.
Yes. Bye.
See ya.